I don't know who needs to hear this, but if I hear one more person talking about the Lionsgate portal, I'm going to throw up. It is all total commercialized BS. The Lionsgate was only something that was in reference to the ancient Egyptians 4,000 years ago when the big star Sirius, yes, it is the brightest, most beautiful star in the sky. I love to watch it from my backyard, rose before the sun, called the heliacal rising of that star Sirius, which was connected to the Egyptian mythology of Isis and Osiris and that myth of the rebirth from the great goddess Isis of her mate. She put him back together after he was dismembered, very literally. And so the rising of the star Sirius signified the flooding of the Nile, which meant that there was going to be crops. And so basically it was about gratitude. So enough of this manifesting. I know times are tough. I know people need money, but thinking about and obsessing about material things all the time is the devil's plan. If you look at the tarot card, the devil's laughing at you, and the old saying, don't sell your soul to the devil for material things. So everybody's into devil worship every time you try to manifest. So I'm trying to correct this and saying it's all about unmanifesting. Okay, you don't want to manifest anything. And it's from my point of view and my experience, the less I worry about making money, the more money I make. Okay, and I'm not driven to make great deals of money. I just make enough money to support my family and to get by comfortably. Okay, I don't need more than that. I'm happy with what I have. And that's the key to being really happy, is to being satisfied with what you have. Okay, otherwise you're going to be driven all the time. I want more, which is greed, which used to be called one of the 7 deadly sins. So this is all very unpopular opinions. I get it. My opinions have always been unpopular because I go totally against the grain, and I always had my whole life since I was a child. Okay, because I remember my own multidimensional reality. I was one of the early light bringers, or whatever you call them, indigo children, all of those kinds of things. From the time I got here, from the time I arrived, my earliest memories, and I've been doing a lot of past life hypnosis again, so bringing up a lot of those memories again has been very interesting. I did a lot of work around that when I lived in Sedona originally in 1987-88. I was there for the first harmonic convergence. Anyway, stop manifesting. Also, there's terrible, terrible astrological aspects just before the full moon with that Mars, Saturn, and Neptune opposition. One of the worst, very worst aspects. Mars is considered to be a malefic planet. Saturn is the most malefic. So anytime those two are within any kind of connection, whether it's a conjunction, a square, an opposition, that is the worst time to try to do anything unless you want to commit crimes or whatever, something nefarious, heavy, Mars, Saturn, restrictions. You want to go to jail, you do stuff with Mars conjunct Saturn. So in Saturn, it's always poverty, limitations, obstacles. So you never manifest anything. Okay, go ahead and try. On a full moon in Aquarius, a very detached, supposedly higher consciousness at its highest level energy. And full moons are not for manifesting anyway. They're about completions and gratitude. The manifesting moons are the new moons, and I've always used the new moon for stating new intentions. So people have this all wrong. Now, the really good, the real thing, the real manifestation comes right after this very heavy, hard aspect of Mars-Saturn opposition. Mars is weak in Libra. Okay, opposite Saturn and Neptune. And Mars rules Aries, where Saturn and Neptune are. So really, this is like the double, triple whammy bad aspect. You've all bought the lies, okay? So now the real positive stuff, you get a reprieve, comes with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, harmony, and the arts, and Jupiter, the real great malefic, when they meet on the 11th, late at night, and on the 12th in the early morning, and they meet conjunct that fixed star Sirius. Okay, now I've done my research. I've looked at every last Venus-Jupiter conjunction on Sirius. It is not very common at all. So I'm going to pre-record a workshop for you to work with. Working with this energy, you can keep doing it after it's in effect. So Venus, the planet of love, beauty, harmony, the arts, relationships, grace. She's the goddess of love and the goddess of war traditionally. She's known as the goddess Inanna from ancient Babylonian astrology, which is one of the origins of Western astrology. And Jupiter, the great malefic, he's like the Santa Claus of the zodiac. So wherever Jupiter is, you get all the goodies. You get more than enough goodies. Sometimes you get too much of a good thing. But Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. So whereas Mars in Libra right now is weak and debilitated, Jupiter is in its best form possible once every 12 years. And Jupiter and Venus don't always come together close to that star. In fact, they go through periods where they don't do this except once every 23, 24 years. So it is very rare special thing. So the fixed star Sirius, the dog star, was the star that the ancient Egyptians worshipped because it is the most beautiful, brightest star in the sky. It twinkles all kinds of beautiful colors. And the U.S. chose July the 4th to have its birthday because they were Masons, the originators of the U.S., and they wanted the sun to connect to that star Sirius. So it's presently at 14 degrees of Cancer, tropical astrology, but over the thousands of years, the stars move backwards through the zodiac, even though they were called fixed stars because the ancients didn't think they moved very much, but they all know that they did. So that is the best time to manifest for real, okay? I'm a double Sag, I cannot lie. So I'm going to give you the real deal straight from the horse's mouth. So again, I've got a crazy busy week coming up next week. Now I have my Uranus on Sirius, actually. So if you have planets connected to Sirius, it's a very special connection to the Sirian realm. And, people channel from Sirius, they channel from Arcturus, they channel from, the different star systems, galaxies, black holes, things of that nature. But again, that is one of the best days of this year, again, with the Jupiter-Venus conjunction on Sirius. So I'm going to pre-record a workshop. It's going to be available hopefully Monday. For you to buy, to listen to work with a whole series of rituals. And I always do a guided meditation that I channel as well. So I'm really happy to do this for you, okay? I don't know if you've been feeling like me, totally exhausted the last while. The energies are really, really frenetic going on right now. Plus there's big solar flares coming in. I think you may be able to see some big northern lights tonight, even fairly far south. In the States. So don't listen to the commercialized BS. I was always wary of anything that was commercialized. I usually never went for it because they're trying to program you. So this is a big program, people. All that manifestation stuff. Stop manifesting, because you're striving. Even if you do it through an affirmation, you're still striving for something. You're still going after it. It's very masculine. It's patriarchal. The feminine way is to be like the queen bee. And you wait, and you put the energy out there, you call it in, you never go chase, okay? You let it come to you. So you just develop yourself. You are appreciative of your own, the fact that you're just manifested already is enough, okay? And be grateful for that, okay? Full moon in Aquarius is detached. It's very cool. It's scientific. It's looking at the big picture. It's checking into the higher consciousness. What level of consciousness do we need to bring in right now? It is the card of the star in the tarot. It's a beautiful card. So if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at tarot.com and learn to discern. This is really, really important. People say, well, how do I tell the difference? And if it's already become clickbait and super commercialized like never before, then it's not real. Okay, you have to learn to think for yourself, to feel for yourself. That's exactly what Saturn conjunct Neptune is teaching everybody right now. You have to learn to be your own guru. At least you have to learn to discern. That's Saturn. Okay, it's like the Tibetan Buddhists have a thing called the wheel of sharp weapons, like Saturn. Mars, it's like a knife. You have to learn to cut through the crap and find out what's real. Okay, you have to ask yourself. You have to take back your own authority, people. Okay, there's no outside authority that you should ever listen to. Okay, you can take it in, you can ruminate on it, you can think about it, you can weigh it out. Does this feel right? Doesn't it feel right? Learn to hone your own innate intuitive skills. Everybody has them. That is your survival mechanism. All right, so if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at tarot.com. Wishing you many blessings of the day.